Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and welcome on into Hazley's Hot Takes. I'm your host, Clint, and in today's video, we'll be recapping the results following UFC 317, where we had two title fights and a couple other key fights on the card. We'll be covering those results on the two title fights, and based on what we think or what we've heard as far as rumors, who's going to get the next title shot opportunity. And then also the other key fights on the card, we'll discuss where they might fight next and what to put themselves in title shot conversations. And let's get right into the storylines for UFC after UFC 317. We'll start at the very top. Ilia Topuria absolutely demolished Charles Oliveira. He called it out as a first round knockout, said he didn't want it to have to be Charles and all of this. And everybody kind of thought like, oh, okay, this guy can't really do that to Charles, right? Nope. He went out there, walked through him, knocked him clean out, hit him with a right and then a left, and he was seeing stars. So Charles Oliveira, I don't know what's next for him. He's going to have a long road for recovery because he got knocked out really, really badly. But as for Ilia Topuria, he's got three names that really stand out as far as the next title challenger for him. Arman Tsukkiaryan is the number one contender, followed by Justin Gaethje, and then Paddy Pimblett's a couple. I think he's like seventh or eighth or maybe sixth in the rankings, but coming off a win over Michael Chandler, which was dominant, he's in the mix as well. And everybody knows the beef between Ilia and Paddy. That would be a super fight to make, but I don't think Dana's going to go to that just yet. I think this one will probably be Arman Tsukkiaryan or Justin Gaethje that will get the title shot there. Between those two, Arman is a wrestler that will probably engage with more of a grappling approach, and that might benefit him, really. He's definitely bigger and stronger than Ilia, but if he gets into an exchange with Ilia, you better have your guard up. You better be ready. Justin Gaethje, obviously, that style would be crazy. Gaethje has a right hand that has like a center block. So those two would be interesting for sure. And Gaethje really doesn't get knocked out besides Max Holloway. So that would be a really interesting fight overall. Either one of those names I would be excited about. As far as the co-main event, where Alexandre Pantoja pretty much steamrolled Kai Kara France, that division is kind of in a weird spot because Alexandre Pantoja's beat everybody in the division for the most part, except for the up-and-comer Joshua Van, who won a decision over Brandon Royval on the same card and looked very good in that fight. And it was like a couple weeks' notice, which is remarkable overall. So Joshua Van versus Alexandre Pantoja makes the most sense there in that division. That's more of a boxer versus a grappler submission guy, but Alexandre Pantoja is showing that he can stun you on the feet as well. So that one could be really interesting. So a couple really good fights that could happen in the future from following UFC 317. There are a couple other noteworthy fights or results on UFC 317. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano was pretty entertaining. Moicano won the round one, and then Dariush just took that as motivation to win the next two rounds and handedly. So Dariush won that. I can see Dariush getting matched up with maybe like a Dan Hooker, someone in the top 10 that's hasn't fought in a while, doesn't have a ton of momentum behind him, and the winner of that could be in the title conversation after that. So I could see Dan Hooker versus Beneil Dariush there. Terrence McKinney also got a quick submission in his fight on the fight card, so that's worth noting. He's a prospect, well, not really a prospect, just a young UFC lightweight fighter. So keep your eyes on him, on his future as well. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up UFC 317 storylines following the pay-per-view. And this wraps up episode 11 of Hazley's Hot Takes, recapping the results following UFC 317, kind of playing the matchmaker and all of that, who we think fighting for the title and where things lie in the divisions. So there's the UFC 317 update. Also want to wish everybody happy July 4th. I know it's July 5th, but a lot of people still celebrate kind of throughout the weekend. So happy July 4th, everybody. And also an update on myself here. There was a 7-day gap in my videos. I was coming down with a cold, starting on like Wednesday-ish, and was losing my voice. Lost my voice Thursday into Friday, and yesterday, still kind of losing it. And yesterday evening, my voice miraculously came back. So that's why there's a gap in the videos there. I apologize for that, as always there. But once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope everybody has a safe July 4th weekend. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.